Hey, everybody, it's me, it's Dr. E. I'm coming before you with an encouraging word, but I also want to answer a few questions. Yesterday, or I think it might have been day before yesterday, on my YouTube channel, a young lady put a whole list of questions. Oh my gosh, it was a lot of questions, and I could not answer them all, just trying to respond in a comment because I would be here all day trying to do them. But the questions were dynamic. They were very, very good questions about, during the 8 year separation, how things looked, and practical questions like, what did you do? And so I said, you know what? I'm going to answer these questions in different videos because I think it's beneficial what she asked. And so I'm going to answer about 3 or 4 of those questions right now. And so for those of you all that don't know me, my name is Dr. E. And God has called me and missioned me and mandated me to help those that are standing and believing God for the restoration and the reconciliation of their marriage. And so simply because God restored my marriage after being separated from my husband for 8 years. And we have since been restored for 4 years, and we're celebrating 22 years of marriage this coming February. And so I am in a place now where marriage is very close to my heart. And so again, as I said, I have a mission and a mandate to really, really help those that standing, because this is not an easy road, and this is not something that people are shouting from the rooftops, and this is not anything that people are really open and honest about. But this is happening all over. A lot of people's marriages are being hit, but people are getting words from God to stand for the reconciliation and the restoration of their marriage, but they don't necessarily know how to do it, and they don't know what it looks like. And to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't know what it looked like, so I honestly believe that I was put into a classroom and the Lord was my teacher. And so now I want to pour into others what was taught to me, which is proven. Hallelujah. Which is proven because it's really about a transformation of yourself and allowing God to really, really be the potter and you be the clay. But I'm going to go ahead and answer a couple of questions that the young lady had on the YouTube channel for me. And so one of the questions was, in your 8 years of separation, what did you do? Were you on a schedule for fasting and praying? And she said, I know you prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed, but practically, tell us what that looked like. And so for me, and again, this is for me, I would always tell people that you need to seek God and hear what he's saying to you concerning your marriage and concerning your stance. But for me, God had me fasting every Wednesday. I fasted every single Wednesday. God had me on a routine of prayer to where I learned how to strategically pray, because no one else could pray for my husband the way I could, because I was in covenant with him. And so that is what my prayer and fasting looked like, to answer that question. The other question that she had was, did you get separate bank accounts during the time that you were separated? And that was a very good question. And the answer to that is no, because we already had separate bank accounts. And the reason why we had separate bank accounts is because I was the one that was very, very, very disciplined when it came down to the finances. I was very disciplined. So what would happen is that I would be paying the bills. My husband would give me, the money that I needed to pay the bills. We would sit down and tell him, okay, this is what's needed for this coming 2 weeks. And he would give me the money. And so I would pay it from my account. And so, unfortunately, while we were separated, because he was in darkness at that time, things got very hard. And so things got very, very tight, because he was not really holding up his end of the bargain the way that he was supposed to. He was in darkness, And so therefore we kept the bank accounts the way that we had them. before, which was two separate bank accounts. So that's to answer that question. That's question number 2. Question number 3, she asked, did you change the locks, while you all were separated? And so the answer to that question is no. No, the locks were not changed. And I think the important part, I want to put a pin right there. And this is going to be the last question I answer in this particular video because I don't want to make it too long. But the reason why the locks were not changed, number one, it got very tough financially for us that I had to move back home. But while I was still living in our own place, I did not change the locks because to me, while God was giving me wisdom during that time, I did not want to make it seem like he never had a place to come. And only the mature would really, really understand that part. I did not want to make it seem like everything was final, it was done, you can never look back this way, because God was working on me as well. Others may feel that, you're stupid. Why would you leave the locks like that? Why wouldn't you change the locks? But those that's mature in Christ will be able to understand the purpose behind that, right? And that's why I would always say to make sure that you always, always seek the wisdom and the counsel of God. That was such a very, very good question. Now, if I was in a situation, or we were in a situation where our life was in danger and we were threatened and everything of that sort, then yes, we would definitely need to seek a safety, most definitely. But in this particular situation, it was nothing like that. And I never wanted it to be where there was nowhere for him to go. Meaning, I needed home to always be home. That's a Selah moment right there. And since I sense God having me to stop there, your flesh may be wanting you to change the locks. Please hear me. Please hear me from where I'm coming from. Your flesh may be angry. Your flesh may be upset. Your flesh may be, mad. And I want him to hurt, or I want her to hurt the way that she's hurting me or he's hurting me and everything. And your flesh may want to do that. Can I tell you to always seek the wisdom of God? Please seek the wisdom of God. Because doing something out of your flesh while your spouse is in a place of darkness can really, really cause the process to be longer than it really has to be. I have to put a pin there because it's just so much to that. And let me tell you, woman of God, the one that posted those questions, you really hit on something there with all those questions that you posted. So this is the part 1 of answering 3 of the probably 50 questions that she put on there. But I hope this shed some light and brought some light to you all that's standing. God bless you and everything that you do. This is Dr. E.